Well, greetings, program. This is my second take on this one, so I'm thinking I'm getting it right. It's Lance, your lovely and annoying host for this episode of There Is Another. Thank you for joining me and joining the There Is Another family. Unfortunately, due to some amazingly strange events, you're going to see that there aren't any co-hosts with me this week. Over the course of the last several weeks, there's been a large break in the shows, if you haven't noticed. And what had happened is one person after another had to leave because they've been smitten by events that seem more akin to a motion picture rather than real life. For example, James, during the recording of the last episode, he just kind of started vanishing into this cloud of almost like black ash and then just totally dissipated into nothingness. The strangest thing, first there was a large snap and then he just started kind of piecing off like cherry blossoms kind of blowing in the wind and just disappeared. And then Kevin, he bought a brand new Volkswagen Beetle from the 60s, a beautiful yellow thing, and he got it home, and next thing you know, that thing started turning into I just can't say it. It just sounds insane. But anyway, we're going to be going into this. Oddly enough, I'm here and I'm ready to give you guys the news for the week from February 17th to the 23rd. And let's get into it. So we're going to be going into the films first, and we're going to be heading off into the Avengers, where the directors of the Avengers Endgame, I can say that, the Russo brothers, announced that the film will be clocking in at a total of 156 minutes long. That is a massive block of time for this movie, and it doesn't even look like it's going to be it's not even going to be the got some people joining us online. We're actually recording this on Facebook this week, so it's actually kind of fun seeing everybody joining us online. But 156 minutes, that's a massive block for a movie. Now, they're also saying that there's a chance that it could be edited and be up to 180 minutes long. That's 3 hours long, which if it does come out, that's going to officially make it the longest comic book-based superhero movie ever created. Joe Russo also had this to say. He said, "I think the studio is down with whatever the best story is. Right now, we think the movie is playing well, and we have had a great response from our test audiences, and we're feeling really good about where it is." So this is huge news. The end of the first cycle of the Marvel films is looking like it's going to be an epic storyline that brings an end to possibly some of the current superheroes. So it's going to be something that's crazy. Let's see exactly how this plays out. I'm really curious as to see how this section of the Marvel movie franchise is going to end. Now, for those of you who don't know, Bill and Ted from Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure have been slotted to make a new movie. Keanu Reeves actually brought this up last year that he'd love to do it, and it ended up being that Steven Soderbergh, who produced the other films, was totally on board as well. And so they're going to be making what is now titled Bill and Ted Face the Music. And while talking to CNET, Steven Soderbergh, who is the producer on the movie, said the script for the film was hilarious, in quotations, and that the movie could end up being released this Christmas, and maybe that'd be a great Christmas present. That's actually something kind of amazing that they're going to move it this quick. That would totally be a bodacious Christmas present. We don't know for sure if it's going to happen, but it sounds like that's what the creative team is shooting for. The movie is set to be directed by Galaxy Quest director Dean Parisot from a script written by the original writers Chris Matheson and Ed Solomon. Franchise stars Alex Winter and Keanu Reeves Keanu Reeves are both coming back to reprise their roles as Bill S. Preston Esquire and Ted Theodore Logan. This is how Solomon previously described the story. This is an actual quote from him. Bill and Ted were told at 16 they were going to be the greatest people who ever lived. They were going to write a song that is going to save the world, and it hasn't happened. And now they're middle-aged men. They've got wives who used to be princesses in medieval England who are now working double shifts at Denny's. They've got teenagers who are about to leave home. Money is tight, and they've been chasing this dream, writing song after song. When somebody from the future shows up and says, "You have 24 hours, the fate of all space-time depends on it, and it doesn't matter, it doesn't happen, then it's never going to happen." Bill and Ted are then confused because they know they had to have written it, because after all, the people in the future told them they did. So they must not have written it yet. So in their depression, they decide their only option is to go into the future to when they have written it and steal it from themselves. What follows is a kind of utterly absurd Christmas Carol-like journey through their past lives, present and future. Their daughters, Bill has a daughter named Thea, and Ted's daughter's name is Billy, are also very involved in trying to help them. So it sounds like it's moving forward. It's going to be something to see if they're actually going to be able to get this thing out by December this year. There's no promises, but it looks like it's going to be a Christmas this year release, which Christmas this year is looking like it's going to be a massive blockbuster season because we're going to go straight into the next one. For the Star Wars fans, there's a current rumor, and we might have a name for the coming episode 9 in May, on the 4th of May. It looks like the name for episode 9 is currently rumored to be dropping on May 4th. Which any Star Wars fan knows, May 4th is May the 4th be with you. So everyone refers to it as Star Wars Day. Now, the funny thing is they're also rumored to be dropping the first trailer in April for Celebration Star Wars Chicago. So it looks like we're going to have a trailer coming out for the movie, but the movie won't even be named yet. So this is going to be a rather odd thing. Nothing like this has ever happened before. Now, the rumors have been coming around since December of when the name is going to be dropped and when the preview is and the trailer is going to be dropping. So I'm only taking this with a grain of sand. This is what the current rumors are. Now, there's only one person in the entire Star Wars universe who's going to be able to answer this question, and that's J.J. Abrams himself. So take this with a grain of salt. Is the trailer going to drop before they actually title the film, or are they going to be dropping everything at the same time? So that's going to be a big question. Now, for the other side, the news is no matter what you thought of Star Wars The Last Jedi, if you loved it, if you hated it, there's nobody seems to be in the middle. And if you just believed what some of those supposed crazy Russian hackers were saying about the film when they attacked it, regardless what you think, Rian Johnson's new trilogy is still currently getting made. Like it or not, The Last Jedi scooped $1.3 billion worldwide. So that basically says that Rian Johnson has the ability to do it, because why wouldn't Disney jump at the chance to let him make 3 times that amount, especially if the film is going to be really good. It's an absurd amount of money to just say, no, we're not interested. Now, the writer-director recently attacked a report from a blog called Super Bro Movies, never heard of them, stating that the trilogy had been dropped because no one liked The Last Jedi. Well, Johnson had this to say to them, quote, "No, it isn't true. I'm still working on the trilogy. With all due respect to the movie bros, I am sure they are lovely, kind bros with a good fraternal intentions." So, a real light slap on their wrist, basically saying, hey, listen, I'm still moving forward. Now, for those of you who don't know, Johnson has been writing this since he got done with The Last Jedi, because, as he stated, as it's been said, Johnson's trilogy is said to have something to do with something he hit on in The Last Jedi. And many of us, including myself, are hoping it's about the stable boy at the end of the movie who was obviously gifted in the Force when he pulled a broom into his hand in a mere 3-second scene in the film. So we'll see exactly how this goes. Right now, the Johnson trilogy is slotted for a tentative 2021 release time. So we still got a little bit of time for the first one of those to come out. So let's head on over to TV news. Supergirl is released the first photo of Jon Cryer as Lex Luthor. Now, fans of the television series 2.5 Men will know that Jon Cryer played the ever broke and ever begging and extremely horny brother Alan Harper. And for all the people of my generation, he is Molly Ringwald's best friend and the one who should have ended up with her in 16 Candles. He played Ducky. But he's stepping out of his comedic roles to pursue a role of an iconic villain, Lex Luthor, in the coming Supergirl season. Now, the look and photos of the first episode of him seem to be really exciting people. This episode will premiere. He will premiere in the 15th episode of the current season, titled "Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?" And it's named so because Lex will reach out from prison to his sister Lena, and as it is written, quote, into one of his plans and will stop at nothing to get her on board, even if that means leveraging the life of one of her friends, end quote. We'll be able to see if he's able to fill the shoes of the uber-intelligent, manipulative Lex Luthor on March 17th on the CW in the United States. I, for one, know that Jon Cryer is quite the dramatic actor, and I think he's going to be able to pull this off. And for all the naysayers that are out there, I personally believe, and I'm talking to you, Kevin, I know you're listening to this, I personally believe that he can pull this off and he's going to turn a lot of heads and make them go, who? Yeah, so it's going to be something good. You can see that on March 17th. And for those who love them, The Muppet Show is currently in development for a reboot with Josh Gad. Now, Disney Plus has announced that a new Muppet series is in the works, and it's being created by actor Josh Gad, who is the total package when it comes to acting, singing, dancing, and theater experience. So it makes perfect sense that he's working alongside Adam Horowitz, Edward Kitsis, who are the ones who brought us Once Upon a Time. Now, for those of you who want to know, Gad is better known for, you might recognize him as the voice of Olaf in Frozen, or Lewis, one of the crazy weasel-looking things in the Ice Age movies. He was also in the Angry Birds movie, but if you want to see what he looks like, check out the popular Adam Sandler movie Pixels. He plays one of the characters alongside Adam Sandler in that one. Now, going over to some odd news in television, this is a rather sad little bit. Carlos Valdez is reportedly leaving The Flash after 5 seasons on the show. After receiving an early renewal for the 6th season, one of the leads of The Flash could be leaving the show. If new reports are any indication, The Flash regular Carlos Valdez may not be a series regular when the show returns this coming fall. According to We Got This Covered, Valdez is looking to move on to new pastures, quote unquote, and plans to leave the show once this season finishes its run. The report says the show will more likely make it a soft write-off, leaving it open for Valdez to reprise his role as Cisco Ramon in future episodes across the CW universe. I personally love Cisco. I love his character. I think it's a fantastic character. I'm going to hate seeing the guy go. So it's one of those things that, let's see exactly how this goes. Now, one of my personal big things, we're going over to the toy section of the aisle. So come on with me into Walmart. We're going to go check out the toy section, all right? So Toy Fair 2019 is over, and there's a ton of toys. Now, go on Facebook, go on YouTube, check it out. There are so many news shows and everything about all the toys that were displayed and announced at the Toy Fair in New York this year. I, for one, am extremely excited for some of the things that are coming out. Now, this is the last year for Mattel covering DC comic names, which is quite surprising because next year McFarlane Toys is going to be taking over their reins. Thank God. Now, it seems like Mattel has just basically given up on the DC line because it just seems like they don't care so much. They released the new multiverse line, which in my eyes, it looks more like a rehash of other toys from the past. They reused a Joker sculpt and added a couple things here and there. They created this new horrible looking Batman based off the Batman 1989 film, and it just looks, I don't know, really out of place. Honestly, it looks really bad. But there's a couple saving graces in this new line and a couple that I really have to get. For example, the DC Multiverse line has a Jason Todd as Robin. It is beautiful. It looks fantastic. He's got that typical Jason Todd, I don't give a crap look in his face. I'm really excited to actually get my hands onto this one because the sculpt and everything looks absolutely fantastic. Now, we also have a Poison Ivy that is being described as being loosely based off the animated series. Now, it's a really beautiful face sculpt on this one. I have to admit, this one does look good. But out of, 15, 20 action figures, those are the only two that I can actually say it seems like they gave any kind of a care about. They also have a 10-inch DC action figure line, and they have amazing face sculpts. They seem to be well articulated, and these are definitely great collectibles, which will come to my studio right here behind me. Now, these are the 10-inch lines that are usually at like Target, Walmart, those kind of places. Not quite 12 inches, not quite, down in the 6-inch range. These are really good toys, and I guess they're made really well so that kids can actually sit and grab them and play with them as well. So these are going to be some ones that are here. The Aquaman looks absolutely fantastic. It's not based off the movie, so don't expect Jason Momoa to be on this toy, but it's a really great looking mold. Got the yellow and green suit for the orange and green suit for Aquaman, so it's going to be really fantastic to actually see this one. So it's a really good figure. Now, on the Star Wars size, it seems that the Black Series releases are looking even bit better than we thought. Now, the General Grievous is a deluxe figure. Everybody knows that. You can pre-order it. It's $29.99. But the General Grievous Deluxe release, everybody thought that as typical Black Series releases with the boxes, that there wasn't going to be a number on the side. Well, take a look at any of the videos, and it looks like there's not only going to be a number, looks like this is going to be the first deluxe action figure that's going to actually be numbered. This one is starting with the D1 printed on the side. So this is going to be something new. Is this what they're going to be doing from now on for their deluxe figures? So General Grievous is going to be the first one with D1, and then from then on it's going to be D2, D3 until we can't fit any more numbers onto the side of those boxes. It's going to be something kind of interesting to look in. And they've also released the Hasbro Retro action figures, which anybody who knows from the original films, there's 140 action figures, and so it's going to be kind of interesting to see exactly how this one happens out. Now, the retro figures are based off the original molds from 1978 up till 1986, I think it was, or 84, I think is actually what it was. So it's actually going to be really interesting. You got the lightsaber with the extending lightsaber straight out of his arm and everything else. So going to be kind of interesting to see exactly how these look up close and personal. I haven't been able to see any really good super photos, but getting those classic figures are going to be fantastic. Now, they have differentiated with the copyright prints on the legs themselves so that collectors won't be fooled by these releases. these new figures when they're on flea markets or anything else. So you'll actually be able to see that it says 2019 instead of 1978, 1980, 1982. So it's going to be a lot easier to figure that out. Also, one of the things that you're going to want to do, take a look at the cards for this one. These are beautiful cards. They're based very closely on the based very closely on the absolute original, figure cards. But there's one big difference that the fans are having a big problem with. They have a very large sticker on the bottom right that says, that it's a... Oh man, retro. I couldn't think of the word. So it says a big, large red sticker on the bottom, says retro series. And a lot of people are saying it's just too big. They need to make this sticker smaller to make it a little bit more collectible, because it takes up over half of the card image of the character, which would be right on the right-hand side of the card. As you're looking left-hand side, that left 1/3 of the card is the figure, and the right 2/3 of the card is a picture of the character that it's based off. And now this red sticker is there, and it takes up half the size of that character. And it's just horrible. Personally, I think it's really detracting. For those of us who like to collect the action figures like I do on cards, they look fantastic, but that red spot on there is just really, really damning. Now, don't forget about Triple Force Friday. It's coming in October. Excuse me. I thought I had the date. I think it's October 9th. Don't quote me on this one. Triple Force Friday. That's going to be the day when all the brand new series of Star Wars action figures are going to be released. Now, they're calling it Triple Force Friday because not only are we getting action figures based off of Star Wars Episode 9, which is coming out December this year. We're also getting action figures from the first live-action Star Wars television series, The Mandalorian. Those will be dropping on the same day. Plus, we will be getting stuff from Star Wars Galaxy Edge dropped on the same day. Plus, I believe Frozen 2 action figures will be dropping on that same day as well. So Disney's really counting on you guys to get out there and just start snagging stuff up left and right. They're hoping that the rich people are going to be heading out there and collecting up all these things. So make sure you head out there, check out the dates. I believe it's October 9th. I know Kevin and James are going to really rip me a brand new hole for not knowing the dates, but we don't have it over here in Germany, so please bear with me on that one. Make sure that you stay tuned in the next coming weeks. We're going to be talking about a brand new video game dropping this December as well, this holiday season. So I'm going to be doing a whole lot of research into this, see if how much information I can get. So hopefully by next week, I'll be able to let you guys know exactly what's going on. This new game is called Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. So not a whole lot of news as far as me finding out right now. We should have a whole lot more information for you guys in the coming weeks. Now, just to let you guys know, for those of you who know who they are, way back in the late 60s, there was a television show called The Monkees. This is news that just broke just seconds ago. The Monkees star one of my all-time favorites television shows. I used to watch it in rerun all the time. Get up on Saturday mornings back in the 70s and watch it on syndication right before the Saturday morning cartoons used to come. So Peter Tork, who played Peter, obviously, in the television series and one of the singers, he was the bassist for them. He just died just about an hour, little over 2 hours ago, it looks like. As of me recording this on the 21st of February, it looks like he just died a little bit ago. This is really sad news coming out of the United States. But yeah, check it out. Please make sure you head on over there. Listen to the Monkees. Their theme song for the TV show was always the one that brought a smile to my face. And I think everybody out there will actually like the show as well. So, yeah, check it out. Peter Tork, sadly enough, 77 years old, had a huge life ahead of him. Behind him, excuse me, not much ahead of him anymore. But I don't mean to laugh at him. But anyway, he's got a huge life behind him, and he made a whole bunch of people, such as me, and so many more people, just really happy with the music and the songs that they were bringing out. Everybody said that this was the America's answer to the Beatles, and he just happened to be in the right place at the right time during casting, and from that point on, in my opinion, one of the greatest American, I guess you could call it bubblegum rock bands came out, and I really loved listening and watching that show. But anyway, make sure you guys check us out at thereisanotherpodcast.com. Follow us on Twitter with There Is Another One. If you have any news or any kind of information that you want to share with us, just make sure you add us. There Is Another, the number one on Twitter, and you can find us at There Is Another on Facebook. Follow the page there. Now, be sure to sub, like, and leave a comment on iTunes. We would love it if you did, and we would sacrifice several Tuscan Raiders to the Sarlacc if you did. Trust me, we shake you scratch our back, we'll scratch your back by getting rid of a couple of those pesky Tuscan Raiders, all right? But until next time, everybody, stay geeky and nerd out.